and I live in the Sloan's Lake neighborhood and on a double lot in the city. I started this garden back in 2009, so the rest is history, really. I have fence-to-fence edible landscaping, medicinal herbs, and produce, annual produce that I grow. I have chickens, ducks, a couple of kitties, bees. I keep 2 beehives in the back. This is what I love to do, and I was trying to figure out how can I make a living doing this. So one of the things I did was go to city council and talk to them about why I wanted to be able to sell produce from my garden. I was one of several people that helped get this cottage foods ordinance passed to be able to sell produce from my garden. And I enjoyed that for a couple of years. Right now, everything is so fully grown that I don't have a whole lot of room to grow a lot of produce to do that anymore. I like being active and speaking up for things that I want. Another thing that I was involved in was helping to get backyard chickens, helping to take away some of the bureaucracy around having backyard chickens. So right now, these days, to me, this is a form of activism. Just living what you love, trying to set an example of what you can do in a typical urban lot, and inspiring people to do the same thing. So I'm kind of speaking with what I do and the way I do things. And the way I do things is, as much as possible, work with nature. I've taken permaculture courses and learned a lot from that, and it inspired me to just have the most regenerative ecosystem that I can here. It's kind of a food forest, really. And another good thing is the pollinators love this. Fruit Tree Guild is an area where you might have fruit trees, and then you have lots of plants that complement the fruit trees and help the fruit trees, maybe feed nitrogen, maybe attract pollinators, maybe help deter the bad bugs. This is a serviceberry. You can see the birds kind of went crazy this year, but most years they don't. Anyway, this is a native plant. The Native Americans used to use serviceberries to make pemmican. This is no maintenance. I've had this for years. I never water it, I never prune it, and it just is loaded with all these delicious serviceberries that are kind of like blueberries, but in my opinion, they're better. So I highly recommend growing something like this in your garden. I think you won't be sorry about that. Several years ago, I determined that this was the sunniest, warmest spot on the property, so my husband and I built a greenhouse. The original vision was to grow food year-round. That works pretty well, with the exception of a couple months when the sun is really down low, so December and January. But I've got fig trees in there that are pretty much taking over right now, so I go in there to cool off, believe it or not. It's a lot of fun. Fig trees are deciduous, so the leaves fall in the winter, and it's nice and sunny in there in the winter, so I do all my veggie starts in there. So it's actually been great, and I also collect rainwater, and there's a gutter that runs into the greenhouse, into a tank, so the plants really love the rain or snow melt water that comes from that. It's a lot of fun. Good morning, everybody. I've got some ruby orange that I cut and feed the chickens and ducks. Hi. Good morning, everybody. These are my chickens and 2 female ducks. I get plenty of duck eggs and, of course, no shortage of chicken eggs. Yeah. I mentioned earlier that I grow lots of medicinal herbs. One in particular that I love that comes back every year because it reseeds itself is stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is a fabulously great herb for your health. It's a great tonic herb. You can use it in soups and juices, and it also works great for it's a great companion plant to grow with other plants. Plants seem to love stinging nettle. Just have to be careful. This is a Siberian pea shrub, and the reason I have this here is it's obviously a perennial shrub, and it feeds nitrogen into the soil. So a lot of what's going on here is that everything works together. If I'm not feeding the birds and the bees, I'm feeding humans, and we've got plants that attract good bugs, plants that attract bad bugs, and just about everything has a purpose. You don't want to have a monoculture. That's not true nature. True nature is a wide diversity of plants. I love just sitting here observing nature, watching the bumblebees and all the other pollinators. There's no shortage of native bees here, and it's a whole lot of fun to watch. Feeding the animals. Part of this is sharing with the wildlife, so you kind of have to be prepared for that as well. But everything works well together, and it's quite regenerative. And a lot of this includes building the soil, by the way. So very, very little gets wasted or thrown away.